Here are 3 reasons why I'm still buying ZBCN. Reason number 1 is because I like its room for growth, which I think is very dynamic hypothetically, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Because during this bull run, I could hypothetically see ZBCN go into the price of 10 cents. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, that's a bad upside, but I disagree with that because if let's say it were to go to the price of 10 cents, that right there is around an 87x from here. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think about. Now, if theoretically I were to put $1,000 into ZBCN in a make-believe scenario, and let's say, again, it were to go to the price of 10 cents, at that point, that $1,000 would be around 87 grand. So you got to think about that. Now, I'm not telling anyone to buy ZBCN or anything like that. However, the way I view it is that when it comes to this, right, this could hypothetically be something amazing. And it's not like 10 cents is even that crazy anyways, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $7 billion, which is kind of really peanuts in the grand scheme of things. I mean, that's not even 10% of Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. And that's not a joke, by the way. You know, Dogecoin back in 2021 reached a market cap of over $80 billion. Keep in mind, even XRP, aka when you take a look at Ripple, right? A project that many people even argue to be very similar to Zebec, which I do agree. You know, again, that right there, even as of right now, has a market cap of over $100 billion. Shiba Inu back in 2021 reached around $40 billion in market cap. Is this too much to ask for? I don't think so. Now, this is just what I take a look at this situation as. However, again, I don't think it's too ridiculous. Now, if, you know, ZBCN needed like a $100 billion market cap or $200 billion to go to the price of 10 cents, then yeah, that's impossible in my opinion, the next 6 to 10 months. However, the way I view it is that this doesn't seem too ridiculous. Now, people sometimes like to say, okay, if you like upside so much, why don't you go into a microcap? Well, for me, a microcap is too risky. Again, from my perspective, there's always going to be risk with everything. I totally understand that, but this doesn't feel as great as a microcap, but at the same time, it doesn't feel as boring as like an XRP or XLM. Now, the reason why I call them a little bit boring is because, again, ZBCN, let's say going to the price of 10 cents, is over an 85x from here. Could XRP or XLM do that in the next 6 to 10 months? I don't think so. That's why I think it's a little bit boring. You know, I just view this as something that's in between. Again, it's not a dinosaur, but then at the same time, it's not a microcap. So I love something like this. Again, it really is a no-brainer pick for me. And I could be wrong, by the way. I mean, there's no telling what the future holds, but the way I view it is that even if, let's say, we're to go to the price of 5 cents, again, right, we have the 10-cent prediction. Even at that point, that's still over 40x from here. So that's kind of crazy. This is just the way I view it. I don't view this as anything bad. And I really do believe that when it comes to ZBCN, aka the Zebec network, I do believe that it's focused on the right market. And let me explain why. And this actually brings me to my second reason as to why I'm still buying ZBCN. Now, when we take a look at the Zebec network, what's so amazing about it? It's so amazing in the sense that it's a decentralized infrastructure network for real-world value flows. Now, people may be thinking, okay, who cares about this? Well, it's actually very fantastic because if you take a look at it, right, one of the main focuses of Zebec is something called RWA payments. Now, RWA stands for real-world asset. Now, why is this crucial and why is this amazing? It's because if you take a look at RWA tokenization, more specifically, we take a look at RWA tokens. Now, what is this, right? These are digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain. Now, people may be thinking, okay, who cares about that? Well, these assets can actually range from something like art, commodities, financial instruments like bonds and stocks to real estate. I mean, these are just some examples, right? But I think if anything, it really showcases how RWA is fantastic. Now, is Zebec the only project out there focused on this? Absolutely not. I mean, let's be real, right? Who is saying that it's the only thing focused on that? However, the way I view it is that it does have a very broad range. You know, it's focused on the right thing, so to speak. Again, even though other projects out there also focus on this, I think that it's still good news nonetheless. Now, also, let's not forget, when it comes to Zebec, one of their investors, right, allegedly is Solana Ventures, which is massive. Also, take a look at something like Circle, which is the creator of USDC, the stablecoin. And yeah, you heard that right. I'm talking about that, right? So Zebec is absolutely fantastic. It's a project that really hasn't gained that mass retail recognition yet, but really in terms of pure fundamentals, it's fantastic. It has the right investors backing it, in my opinion. Not to mention as well, pretty good exchange listings. It could be better though, but when it comes to ZBCN, I think it's getting up there. And I think when exchanges take a look at stuff like this, it does matter. They want credibility. Now, this doesn't guarantee that the project is going to be good in the future. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to grow. But I think, if anything, if there are investors like that, it showcases that they do at least believe in the fundamentals, and they do believe, of course, in its future, because or not, why would they invest in it? Now, not to mention, we take a look at, even considering how relatively quote-unquote small the Zebec network is, you take a look at how Zebec's partners do include JP Morgan, Bank of America, Visa, MasterCard, and of course many others. I mean, this is absolutely legendary in my opinion. Not to mention, Zebec is focused on giving individuals, now this has been stated, right, again, on giving individuals, businesses, investors, and teams faster and easier access to funds and tokens. So yeah, that's a very good statement, I guess, but it wouldn't really mean much if the statistics don't back it up, right? If the stats are bad. But it's not bad because there's currently 50,000, or should I say around 50,000 monthly users. There's over 200 payroll enterprise clients, and its payroll volume is around $1 billion. Not to mention, we take a look at when it comes to projects that are focused on the enterprise market, I do believe this is going to be massive moving forward, because when you take a look at it, what fostered the growth of the internet? It was enterprise adoption. The retail market did help, but real growth happened through enterprise adoption. Now, this is historically speaking. History isn't always going to necessarily repeat itself, but if we think about this logically, enterprises, they do have the capital, they have the volume, which is why I think projects that are focused on the enterprise market, much like Zebec, I would argue, are absolutely fantastic. Now, not to mention, they're focused on two markets that also Ripple and Stellar are focused on. Again, Ripple aka XRP and Stellar aka XLab. Now, what are those two markets? The payments market, which is currently valued at over $2 trillion. So that's amazing. Not to mention the global trade and finance market, which according to Mordor Intelligence is expected to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028. So again, Zebec is a very fantastic project. It kind of gives me the vibe of like a Stellar or like, Ripple, but just much smaller and much more to prove. So I think it's a no-brainer pick for me, and I do really like it. Now, my third and final reason as to why I'm still buying ZBCN is because, as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. There's currently over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. We take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. I think this sport could be so special, but it's going to take time. Because keep in mind, we're not even 1 year removed yet from the last Bitcoin halving event, which happened back in April of 2024. Now, usually altcoins, they peak as a worst case, historically speaking, around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, which would actually mean around October this year based off of that date. So when you think about it again, we still could theoretically still have a ways to go. Now, this is just my thesis, so to speak, right? It's just what I'm kind of assuming might happen, but I think near the end of 2025 could be a special year. Once Bitcoin goes to the price of 150,000, 200,000, and maybe even way beyond, who knows? This could be something amazing, which is why I'm still staying patient. I'm not giving up. And that right there are 3 reasons why I'm still buying ZBCN at the price of 10 cents during this bull run. That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Bye.